Now that we've created our roles and our custom fields, let's take a look at our message templates. So if we click into the message template tab, you'll notice that initially there are some emails that have been previously uploaded. Please look through those. Many of them do need to be edited. If there is ever a moment where you do not see things that are put between a double bracket, or that say insert a link here, those are looking for you to go ahead and manually add that information. But when it comes to adding message templates, we're going to start with the email side before we get into the SMS. The email side functions, quite frankly, exactly as you would expect when putting these emails together. So if we want to add a new template, we can just go ahead and click on it. That will allow us to go ahead and create a new one. We can click on any of the already created emails to get a quick look at what the contents are. We can also edit those. There's an edit button on the right, the pencil, and then we can trash them if there are any in there that we don't like. If you do see example emails that were already uploaded that you don't believe you will ever use, feel free to go ahead and delete those. There's no reason to have them cluttering up your message template section as something that you're going to have to dig through later. On these email templates, one of the things that you will notice is that they are organized alphabetically. Now, in this particular example, you'll notice that a lot of these are named example email and review. This is our test account. But normally, when it comes to the naming convention of my emails, I like to be very specific. So if we were to create a new template, the first thing you'll see is the name. I almost always start with, is this a buy side email or a listing side email, so that I know how the email has been formatted, and kind of then go into explaining what the use case is for this email. So maybe this is an email that is going to our title company, and it's going to be introduction to all parties, which is great. So this is going to allow us to utilize the roles that we've created. I can then give it a subject line. We'll call it introduction. And what's great, excuse my typo, is that we can actually use our fields as well as our custom fields in the subject line. So maybe I want the street address here. Well, what I'll need to do is in the body of the email, I have the opportunity to kind of search through my fields and find what I need here. So I'm actually going to use this deal address function, which comes up in those double brackets of deal.street. This is great. I believe that you should search through fields when looking for things that you want to utilize as you get more comfortable and know what you've started to name things. We also have the opportunity, though, as we start working through these, that we can start to type in the double bracket, and it provides the opportunity for us to essentially do a smart search. So since I know what I'm looking for is got the word street in it, I can start typing that out. It will autofill to some extent what I'm looking for. I can just press the enter button and it's going to put that in there for me. So I'm actually going to copy and paste this double bracketed deal.street, and I'm going to put that into the subject line. So now every time that this email is sent in relation to a specific deal, it will automatically fill in the address of that deal. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start this email off with a introduction. We'll say hi. I can look through my fields, and as we do, well, we just added title in a previous video. So let's go through and find title here on the fields. Again, I have that opportunity to use first, last name. I can use their full name, their email, their phone number, and their company. In this case, just want it to be a simple first name. So as long as I have assigned my proper title company vendor to the title company role, that information is going to autofill. So we'll say this is an introduction to all parties on the transaction at. And then again, I can use that deal.street. And I can start to play with different things here. So I can say, okay, here is the closing price. I can say, here is the earnest money amount and due date. If I've created those fields, I can then plug those in. If there's any other information I need to provide, I definitely can. So let's take a look at this closing price, or sales price, I guess is what we should call this. I can then look through my fields to find what that's called. As we look through, I've got sale price right here. So that'll get auto input as long as I filled out that field on the deal. I can look for the earnest money amount and the due date. Um, uh, Earnest money amounts right here. So you kind of get an idea of what that looks like. From there, I can start to make those introductions that we discussed earlier. So maybe I want to introduce the listing agent and the buyer's agent. And I can start to have some fun with this. So I can go through those fields, and rather than searching through them in this case, I'm going to go ahead and utilize the double brackets. So I'm going to type in listing agent, and I'm going to do their full name. I'm going to do the listing agent phone number and their email address. So we'll do email, and then we'll do and their phone number is right there. So just to give you an idea, essentially, as I am progressing through and I go to send this email, again, as long as I've assigned the team member or vendor that's filling that listing agent role, and these pieces of information have been filled out, I am then good to go on sending that email. It will automatically fill the information out for me, so that I can kind of progress through. If you have attachments that you would like to add, you definitely can on the message template. Uh, when you are adding attachments to these templates, though, please make sure that it is a universal attachment that can be sent to any client. You can send one-off emails using these templates from the deal or the contact directly, at which point you can add any personal attachments you may need to use. But from the message template section itself, any attached files need to be universal and need to not contain any personal information of any of your clients, so you don't accidentally send that out to anyone. And then we click save. And now that has been added in to our emails. We've got our buyer title introduction to all parties. It went in exactly as expected on the order of where it should end up alphabetically.